So this happened in 1865 in British-controlled India. A British officer was traveling through the jungle with an Indian servant. They had been walking for days and were absolutely exhausted. And the plan was to get to this oasis, rest for a bit, then continue their journey the next day. But when they arrived at the oasis, they found that there was already a camp there. There were tents and fires and a bunch of people. So they decided to stay another night and then go in the morning. In the middle of the night, the officer was awoken in his tent to what sounded like screams in the forest, big guttural screams. Obviously, he was freaked out sitting in the tent, not knowing what was out there. Then he started hearing what sounded like footsteps near the tent. At first, they were slow and dragging, but then they started to get faster and more intense. The officer described it as someone dragging themselves closer and closer to his tent. Then all of a sudden, right after he wrote that, he heard a loud bang on the tent, and then another one, and then a third one. And then the dragging started again, and the footsteps started to fade away into the distance. In the morning after, of course not sleeping at all, he went out into the jungle to investigate what the hell happened. He found huge, like 6 or 7 foot tall footprints in the mud near his tent, and then he noticed something else. Something was dragging along the ground and making these marks. He followed the tracks and it led him to a log, and on that log was a dead animal. It looked like some kind of wild dog, and it had been skinned. Whoever did this was their kill. The officer decided to go back to the oasis the next day and see if anyone else had seen anything, or if anyone else had heard anything. He wanted to get to the bottom of this. When he got there, he found that all of the camps had been abandoned. No one was there. No one had been there the entire night. It was like they had all just vanished into thin air. And that's when the horror really hit him. He realized that he was not only in the middle of nowhere, he was in the middle of nowhere with a bunch of people who didn't exist. He ended up finding a small village nearby and he stayed there for the night. And then in the morning he continued on his journey. To this day, no one knows what happened at that oasis in the jungle. No one knows who made those footprints or who skinned that animal. Some say it was a ghost, some say it was a demon, but all I have to say is this: if you ever hear dragging metal moans in the middle of the night, you should probably check your tent, because